In today's episode, Andrea asks, how can you determine what segments to evaluate in Google Analytics? So segments, the reason segments are important is that they give us the ability to look at a very specific part of our social media audience, or of any of our audiences, any of our digital marketing audiences. Who's in that audience and what do they do? How do they behave? So how do you determine which segments to look at? Well, the first place I'd start is for what segments do you have installed? So in Google Analytics, let's switch over to the display here. In Google Analytics, there are a series of different choices here, such as system, custom, share, etc. The default that everybody comes with is the system segments. So things like bounce sessions, they came in, they left. Converters, people who've completed some kind of goal. You have direct traffic, where Google doesn't know what to make of it. Mobile traffic based on the device type. Multi-session users, which is oddly enough should be functionally the same as returning user. New users, non-bounce, non-converters, organic traffic, which is organic search, paid traffic, performed a site search. So there's a whole bunch of things that are built into the interface. Now, what you'll notice is that a lot of the things that you would want to know about your digital marketing are not included here. So, for example, there is no segment for people who read your blog. There is no segment for people coming from Facebook. There's no segment for people who have visited your Instagram profile, the link in your bio in your Instagram profile. So all that stuff is not in here. That's something that you have to create. And the way to do that is, of course, with the new segment button. When you create a new segment, you define what are the aspects or the conditions that you want this segment to look at. So there are the basics like demographics. Are there certain types of technologies that they use? How do users behave on your site? Traffic sources. If you have the source and the medium, you can filter that in. And then, of course, there's the advanced stuff where you can build in very elaborate constructs. Once you know what segments you want, and they're correct, and they're working, and they're in here, and you have goals and goal values set up. That's a big ask, but if you have all of that together, if you go to the goals menu, you can start to plug your segments in and see which segments are the most valuable. So let's take a look here. I'm going to add in, let's add in my blog, so people who've been to the blog. And I want to look at people who have been to, for example, my Gumroad page where you can buy my books. And let's look at organic social media, which is one that I've had to create from scratch. Let's hit apply. And now I can look at each of these segments. Let's expand this time frame out so that I can get a bigger picture than just a week. So these three segments, blog traffic, they're 3,593 goal completions. Gumroad, no goal completions, which actually makes sense because it's off-site. Organic social media traffic, 283 goal completions. So in terms of what segments should I be doing further analysis on, I'd say this blog traffic one's pretty important. So let's go now and just show a quick example of what you would do with that knowledge. I'm going to go to source medium here in acquisition. And the blog traffic, that's kind of important. So let's remove everything else here and just focus on people who read the blog. I'm going to remove this one. And remove this one. So where are people coming from who read the blog? Google organic search. Let's make this a bar chart so it's a little easier to visualize. Visually, there, that is very impressive. So 76% of my blog readers come from organic traffic. 12% are unknown. Unknown is important because it means there's potentially tagging issues at work. Bing organic search, number 3, 1.6%. Then Twitter, then my email newsletter, Facebook, FeedBurner, and then a few other things. So this is really interesting to me because if I am now looking at my blog, if my blog is important, and clearly we know it is because it has a high number of goal completions, then as a segment, this is what I want to keep an eye on. I want to understand where this audience is coming from. So if I want more traffic to the segment, I should probably focus on Google, Bing, and Twitter, and then I could start digging into who is this audience. So who are the people who are in this audience? So very broadly, you can look at the broad demographics of my blog segment. See that most folks are 25 to 34 of the folks who can be identified, which is about 45% of the audience. My blog is relatively gender balanced. It's not exact, but that's okay. Looking at the interests, who are these people? What are they interested in? Shoppers, lifestyle, sports and fitness, interesting. Employment, business services, advertising. I would hope that would be the in-market segment because I write a marketing blog. Social networks, reference. So some useful things here for some of the topics or some of the things I might want to cover. If I wanted to, for example, do a custom report for an industry. Gosh, which industry should I choose? Maybe things like health and fitness. I could do something like that that would be of interest to a plurality of my audience. You can look at things like where are my users based? So the people who read the blog, where are they based in? Predominantly the United States, but the United States is only 47% of that blog segment. That's really important because if I think and I speak and I make video content and all the stuff for people that is too America-centric, I'm alienating 52.84% of my audience. That's not a good thing. Right? Look at how much audience comes from other parts of the world. India, 6.4%. The United Kingdom, 5.72%. Canada, almost 5%. So it's a good. The blog audience segment is a very diverse segment, and that means that I have to keep in mind I need to be more global and less regional in my perspectives. If we look at mobile devices, let's go ahead and take a look at our mobile overview here. Who is the audience in terms of the device that they're using, the device category? Desktop, mobile, tablet. Okay, let's go to our bar charts. And in our bar charts we see here, we are at 68% desktop, 28% mobile. That's actually surprising to me that mobile is not greater. It gets me to thinking maybe I need to check my AMP implementation, maybe to make sure that my blog is more mobile friendly, to make sure that I can increase that share. And then looking at the branding of the devices, who is the audience? Apple now 54% of the devices, and then everything else we have the Android ecosystem: Android, probably Android, and like a Windows phone. So with the segments, once you've evaluated your segment based on the value of that segment, then go through and do all this analysis, do all this research, find interesting things to look at that give you insights as to who this most valuable segment is and what you should be doing from a content perspective, from a device perspective, from a friendliness perspective, to serve your highest converting segments the best. That's how you make the most of this information, and that's how you turn it into action that will lead to business impact. By making life better for your best customers, you will ensure their loyalty, or at least improve the likelihood of their loyalty, and give them what it is they want. As always, if you have follow-up comments, leave them in the comments box below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter, and I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.